Hello everyone, I'm Carthu, and today we are doing a new series on the channel, something that's a little bit easier for me to edit. As you can see, it's sort of like a live layout almost, and basically what I can do then is produce more content for you guys overall. That way you guys get more of the insight into what I'm thinking and can respond and give me your opinions and feedback in the comments as to what you're thinking on the same topics. This is, as the title over there I believe says, is Tier List Tuesday. Tier List Tuesday is going to be a series where I go through those tier lists related to Dragon Ball on tiermaker.com, a wonderful website if you guys are interested in making tier lists. Not sponsored in any way. But if you guys want to go and make tier lists or do the same tier list that I have and post them on Twitter or something at me, I'll take a look at them and I'll respond, let you know. I think this would be an interesting community sort of response way of doing things. I'll try to go in order of the list, as you can see at the bottom here. There is, I don't know if you can see my mouse. I don't think you can. But at the bottom, obviously right next to me, yes, you have the transformations and then the tiers. The tiers are S, A, B, C, D, F, and not a form. So let's jump right into this one. There's no video intro or anything on this. With, first off, not a form. Kaio-Ken, I apologize, you are not a form. So, with Ozaru. Ozaru is the initial transformation in the series. It's responsible for killing Grandpa Gohan, freeing everybody from Pilaf, causing the moon to be destroyed twice, once by Master Roshi, the second time by Piccolo due to how unruly it is, leads to Vegeta overall crushing Goku in a multitude of ways. And it's just a transformation that's never otherwise done anything on its own but caused events to happen around it, if that makes sense. I'm going to be drinking while I do this, apologies. It's a little informal, this, as you can tell. And so, for Ozaru, for being the first transformation in the series, the big thing, I'd also like to point out that it's heavily implied that Toriyama was actually going for more of a Ozaru-ish type power-up for Goku as the series went on, especially in the Piccolo Daimao arc, where Goku drinks the water, and then you see the flash of Ozaru behind his head. You also have the Ozaru fist through Piccolo Daimao's chest, or stomach, whatever you want to call it. It's sort of his abdomen area. Well, that seems like it was important to Goku's fundamentals, his power, the basis for what made Goku Goku was that Ozaru. And so because of that, I think it deserves a B. We might revisit that afterwards. Next, we have Super Saiyan Grade 3, the variation of Super Saiyan that lacks speed and is only power. It's basically there to just say that this is not the way to move forward with transformations. And because of that, it really doesn't do anything. I think its most interesting usage is actually in Dragon Ball Super by Future Trunks, who uses it against Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue to trick him into thinking that he's doing something stupid when he really wasn't. And literally, the form is so stupid that he used it as a way to make people think, to make Vegeta think he's stupid. And if that's how stupid the form is, I don't think the form can go higher than a D. Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate is an interesting thing, because it's not earned in any way. Ultimate is given. Now, in Super, it rectifies this, it makes it more of a given form, like it's something you have to maintain rather than just have constantly. I kind of like that approach, but taking into consideration that the form initially is actually is given, right? It's not something earned, it's not something fought for, it's not something trained for, it's, oh, Gohan, you have the most potential, let's do a magic ritual that I can do. And we're gonna make you strong enough to defeat Majin Buu. Well, I don't find that quite interesting, like, at all. And to be frank, because of that, I don't think I could put it higher than a C. And it's only getting as high as C. It would normally be a D. It's only getting as high as C because of a couple of reasons. All of them mainly being in Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power, as the form itself in the Majin Buu arc, in my opinion, is possibly some of Gohan's worst. It's an exacerbation of all of Gohan's flaws when he gains power, which we'll talk about more when we reach Super Saiyan 2, obviously. But Gohan's ultimate form is more of the same character flaws. It's like he learned nothing from the Cell arc, and that's kind of another reason to hit it down. But I don't want to take character too much into this. I try to focus on the form, and because of that, C. Super Saiyan Blue. or as some people like to call it, Super Saiyan Blue Hair Dye, Super Saiyan Recolored. the Super Saiyan color palettes, basically. Everything that people like to say about these forms. And to me, Super Saiyan Blue isn't that great. It's pretty average, and what's average is C. And we're going to put it there, and as I explain. C is this... Well, let's not explain the rank. Let's explain the form, yeah. Super Saiyan Blue sort of has this fundamental fault with it, that it goes against the ideas of the Battle of Gods arc. The Battle of Gods arc was building up to this point that Goku was absorbing the power of Super Saiyan God into his base. He was becoming the god of Super Saiyans, the god of Saiyans in base. He didn't need these forms. He didn't need anything beyond Super Saiyan, it seemed. And then all of a sudden we have blue hair. Now, obviously it's a merchandise form, because if you read Toriyama's interviews from the time, he said that he didn't want Super Saiyan 2 and 3 to really be used in the future of the series. He really wanted to focus on Super Saiyan, and that never came to be unless you count Super Saiyan Blue as that Super Saiyan focus, which I don't know if I count that. And I get what the point is, right? It's God base, right? God, which is Super Saiyan God, plus Super Saiyan, which makes sense. But overall, it's not impactful. When I saw it for the first time in Resurrection of F, the movie, I wasn't impacted by it. When it's revealed for the first time in Resurrection of F, the arc, I'm not impacted by it. I thought it was better executed in Resurrection F, the arc, even though that arc is terrible, because of the fact that it was pulled off in a way that you had build up to it, right? You had those little flashes of the blue energy coming off when Goku and Vegeta punched each other while training with Whis and things like that, and it made it feel like it was earned and you actually felt it grow as over time. But other than that, its design holds it back, and the idea and its shift in ideology from the first arc holds it back, and how it fundamentally, in one arc later or one movie later, however you want to put this, changes the ideas of that arc and movie before it. And that's why it can only be a C in my book. Maybe you could push it to a B because of the Broly movie, but that'd just be cool animation. I don't think that really changes the fundamentals of the form. Super Saiyan Rose. Now, a little bit more neat on the idea because in this case, it's actually been stated multiple times that this is Black's Super Saiyan form. And he is mixing it with God Ki. It just so happens to be Zama's God Ki. And that's what makes it Super Saiyan Rose. So Super Saiyan Rose is actually not blue. It's actually Super Saiyan with Zama's God Ki. So similar to Super Saiyan Blue being Super Saiyan plus Goku or Saiyan God Ki. If that makes sense. So in that case, it's a little bit more interesting. It was actually a lot more interesting to see when it was first executed and first brought on. I think it was better played up as this big, weird reveal, like what's going on here. We've never seen this before. So I thought that was a bit more interesting. And maybe my bias for Goku Black being my favorite villain in Dragon Ball is a little bit of, well, that was a spoiler for a future tier list, I guess. But that bias right there might actually be pushing this, but I'm gonna say it's a B, but below Ozaru. Also, Super Saiyan Blue above Ultimate, because Super Saiyan Blue needed work. I'm gonna try and rank within the tiers as well. Super Saiyan 4, solid B. Above all of these guys too. Like this, there we go. Super Saiyan 4 is a solid, like the solid B, I would say. Maybe something else will beat it, but I think it's the solid B. In its first iteration, when it first happens, it is such a mysterious thing. Goku becomes the Golden Ozaru, he's on a rampage, he looks to none other than Earth, which is reflecting the light of the sun and giving off the flux rays. Flux rays take Gohan in his calm mind, and he's able to contain all the power that he's unleashing in this Golden Ozaru and amplify it into a smaller body in transformation. When it first appears, it's so dangerous and so mysterious that he actually tells Pan and Mr. Satan to stay back or else he might kill them by accident. That's how wild and crazy this form was supposed to be. I think Gogeta in Dragon Ball GT actually ruins the form because he's way too goofy in it. It takes away the seriousness of the form. And you may say, oh, it's overly edgy, and sure, but that's the point. It's supposed to be the overly edgy form. We actually don't have many overly edgy forms if you look at all of these. So to have one overly edgy form, I'm not too concerned about. I kind of like it. It's kind of a more serious take on the otherwise fairly goofy GT. Remember, Goku's a kid the whole time. So overall, I think it's a very solid B. And why is it not A or S comes down to very simple reasons. Like I said, the seriousness is downplayed over time with Gogeta and just in general. And its design is goofy to me. I know people think it's super cool and stuff. Where does the red fur come from? Where do the pants come from? What are these clothes that magically appear and disappear and stuff? Doesn't Vegeta, like, grow gloves or something? Or lose gloves or whatever when he transforms? And then they grow back as he untransforms? It's so weird. It's such a weird transformation in the design aspect that I can't possibly give it higher than a B. And I think the design issues fundamentally come down to them making Goku a kid. If Goku's an adult, you keep Goku's adult pants, his shirt rips off every time. But because he's a kid, you can't really do that without them, falling off, and then you have furry bait. And yeah, so I would say that solid B. There are things holding it back, but it's a very good form. I think it's overhyped overall, but I think it's a good form. Next, we have full-powered Super Saiyan Broly. Hate to say it, guys, it's a D. And it's above Trunks here, but it's a D. Why is it a D? Because simply put, in the movie, it's not even that emphasized of a form. Broly's other two forms, which I guess we'll get to with Super Saiyan for his Super Saiyan form, and I don't know why they didn't put Broly's here. Broly's Super Saiyan is a little different, so it's not on the list, but it's very strange that it's not. But his Ikari form and the second Ikari form in the series, of course, and his Super Saiyan form are fundamentally more interesting. Far more interesting than this Berserker full-powered Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan form. It's called full-powered Super Saiyan for anybody that's curious. Full-powered Super Saiyan, it just falls short. It's not interesting. Its transformation wasn't even interesting in a movie full of interesting, like, physical transformations. Like, the animation from between one form to the next is always interesting in this movie, and then all of a sudden this form happens in CG. Yeah, it happens in CG. Terrible. I think it's just such a waste of a form. It's not very explained. It's obviously there just to be fan servicey. As far as we know, Toriyama didn't even want it in the movie because the design actually comes directly from Shintani. There's no Toriyama basis for the design, which means Toriyama, according to Shintani, Toriyama stopped at the designs with shirts. So Toriyama only designed up till Broly having Super Saiyan, which I think was a better place to cap it off. And it's actually possible that Gogeta wasn't even supposed to be in the movie, and that was a Toei decision as well. Hard to say, but yeah, all those factors considered, you can kind of see why it comes off as a rushed form at the end of the movie, and it's, at this point, it has the potential to grow in the future. Absolutely, Broly is in the series now, but as of right now, it hasn't grown, and it wasn't elaborated, and wasn't fun. Next, we have Super Saiyan God. Easy. S. Why is Super Saiyan God, of all things, in S rank form? Super Saiyan God, and if some of you have watched my live streams, you know I love Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God is a subversion of our expectations. When we hear that Goku must become the Super Saiyan God, or someone is the Super Saiyan God, we're expecting something beyond Super Saiyan 3. The next, the bigger, the badder, the longer hair, the goldener, the bestest, or maybe we're coming off the Tales of GT, which of course is non-canon, but we're coming off the Tales of GT and we're thinking the fur, we're thinking the tail has to come back, we're thinking spiky, big hair again. No. Goku's normal hairstyle. A little bit more spiky, but his normal hairstyle. Subtly shifted to red, eyes with red and pupils, burning flame aura, and a slim body. Subversion of every expectation that we have of what a Saiyan transformation should be. And with it comes a new level of power. Super Saiyan God is the gateway to everything in Dragon Ball Super. It is fundamentally the most important form in any... It's like fundamentally the most important form. And why is that? Super Saiyan God doesn't require Super Saiyans, by the way. I think that's a misconception. But Super Saiyan God, right, is something you could either train for or get through ritual. And the ritual variant is even more interesting. It comes from this very weird lore aspect with Yamoshi's spirit wandering the universe in search of 6 righteous Saiyans performing this specific ritual. He communicated with Beerus and the Namekian elders to try and get this ritual into existence in the world, like making legends that don't actually exist for the sake of creating the Super Saiyan God. It was all in hopes of creating the legend. And the ritual Super Saiyan God goes even further than that, because not only is Yamoshi's spirit connected to it, who is the original Super Saiyan. He's not a Super Saiyan God, by the way. Goku is the first ever Super Saiyan God. Yamoshi is not. That's a retcon from Battle of Gods, the movie to the arc. In the arc, they never mention original. So you have this form that also has a healing factor, gets stronger over time, is burning it into yourself. So that way, once the form fades, you still have its power. It's an incredible, incredible form. It, on every level, I think it executes and hits the right beats. And it's just truly and truly an awesome form. I love Super Saiyan God. You can't change my mind there. It's staying at S, and it's staying at the top spot in S, by the way. Spoilers for the rest of the list. That's the best form in the series. 100%. Ui Omen is next. Another S-rank form. I know this is weird. I'm giving super good ranks. Don't worry, it doesn't last. So yeah, Ui Omen gets this very big, bombastic, full-hour premiere, right? Where the second half is all about it being the best and doing all this work and building up the expectations of Whis. Whis' expectations for Goku and Vegeta are now coming to fruition. Whis is a proud father almost in this, and Whis is finally getting what he wanted. And at the same time, I do want to say that Mastered is a bit of a downgrade just because of design. In all other aspects, Mastered Ultra Instinct and Ultra Instinct Omen are fundamentally the same thing, just one's the improved version of the other. However, I do think the silver design ruins the aspects of making yourself better. It kind of just makes it too like, oh, we're just mimicking the angels at this point. You know, we're getting the silver hair and the eyes with the pupils and everything, and we're becoming the angels rather than becoming ourselves with this improved transformation. I kind of feel that's where Ultra Instinct falls short. So, Mastered Ultra Instinct falls short, but overall, it's just this culmination of what it is to be a martial artist and the roots of what it is to be a martial artist, rather than the bigger, again, the bigger, the badder, the stronger, the musclier. No, it's a subversion of that slightly, not as much as Super Saiyan God, not even close to as much as Super Saiyan God, but it takes us back to something that was predicted in ROF or foreshadowed in ROF even, and it just makes it just that amazing. And I think anybody who watched 109 and 110 when they first premiered knows how amazing it was to see this form, and then compare that to, say, Super Saiyan Blue, who's down here in C, seeing that for the first time, comparatively, I'm not that interested. I don't know what's going on here. Let's move on. Super Saiyan 3. I'm gonna get killed for this. F. F. Easy F. Two people have the form, Gotenks and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We see neither of them obtain the form for the first time. We only find out about the form after they learned how to use it. Great. I'm so interested. It loses its eyebrows and gains super long hair. What is this? Why does it have no eyebrows? Can we talk about this? Just so goofy. It's such a goofy, stupid form that does nothing. It doesn't beat Majin Buu because Goku chooses not to, despite it being able to. He is able to beat Majin Buu, Fat Buu, when you first see him, but he chooses not to, so it doesn't do anything there. It just holds off time. Great. It's not the one to defeat Kid Buu. It's not even the one to finish off with the Genki Dama push at the end. It's just regular Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 3 loses to Beerus. Super Saiyan 3 is just a flash for Caulifla and Kale, like something they should aspire to, despite Kale being stronger than Super Saiyan 3 at that point. It just makes no sense, guys. Super Saiyan 3 is terrible. Moving on. Evolution is F. Revisiting the same story beats for Vegeta every single time Vegeta's in trouble is boring. I'm sorry. I understand that he's like a family man now with all these things going on, you know what I mean? That's what he lives for, his family and whatnot. Let's do a quick cut. Back from the quick cut. So, back to Vegeta though. We have these story beats that are the exact same as every time Vegeta's in trouble in Super. Just do the exact same things, the exact same people that he cares about, and now he's stronger, guys! Yay! No one wants Vegeta to have the exact same narrative beats every single time. And this happened in the arc where he got this form like 3 times, or 3 or 4 times. It was a lot. And so, it's just boring, it's bland, it wasn't that exciting. It was just a way to make up for the fact that they gave Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken and Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken being such a gap between Vegeta's current and Goku's current. And that's it. That's all the reason it exists. It has no other need to exist. Oh, and while I'm saying that, Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken, not a form. I didn't realize it was on the list. Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken is not a form. It's just adding a technique to a form, which we already rated up higher at C. So, it's not a form. Those two can stay down there. But if I did have to rate it, Super Saiyan Blue Kaio-Ken would also be an F. Because it takes away from the narrative that Goku and Vegeta are rivals and close to equals in the series, rather than Goku always being ahead, which was the theme of Dragon Ball Z, basically. I like keeping them as relative equals. So yeah, let's keep that out of here so we don't have to put it in F. Ikari, it's Broly's best form. That's a solid. See, like, I want to give it an A, but I feel like that's so high, and I kind of want to give it a B. But I don't want it to be above Super Saiyan 4 if it's a B, but I do want it to be kind of an A, so it is above Super Saiyan 4. I'm going to give it the A. I think it slightly edges into A. This is how you handle transitioning a form from non-canon to canon. If you can't tell that that is the canonized version of Super Saiyan 4, you don't understand how these forms work. By having Broly have no tail, because it was too much of danger, but also still having him able to take over the power of Ozaru, it was incredible. It was incredibly well executed. Rather than having to need the tail to take the power in as Ozaru and then pull it back down like Super Saiyan 4 does, you just have Broly and Ikari using the power of Ozaru without access to Ozaru. It's an alternative path to power that he has because he doesn't know how to go Super Saiyan. This is what his body had to figure out, what his body had to do in order to survive against Vegeta and Goku, who were, stronger than him at that point. Overall, I think that's great. I think that's incredibly well executed. The design is a subtler design of Super Saiyan 4. It still's got the yellow eyes, the big spiky hair. Even a little bit of the underlining is there. It's not the same, bright red, though. It's just a darker line around. I just think, overall, it works very, very well. I think it just does, overall, on every front. It feels like the natural progression into the modern style of transformations from Super Saiyan 4. I think Super Saiyan 4 becoming canon in Ikari is the best way for Super Saiyan 4 to become canon. I don't think it needs any other reason to become canon. My dog just barked. And he's barking again. Cut again. And back. So yeah, Ikari is the best transition from normal Super Saiyan 4 to a canon variant of Super Saiyan 4. And I think it's the best we're ever going to get. And honestly, I don't want to see Super Saiyan 4 exactly the way it was in GT. If anything, the Ikari form is a better representation of Super Saiyan 4 in canon. Next, we have Grade 2. Slightly better than Grade 3, I'd say. Still a D tier. I mean, it's not that interesting. It stops being used in the Cell arc. It's basically a step towards not understanding what the hell is going on with Super Saiyan forms and trying to make them bigger and better and failing. And This is kind of why Super Saiyan 3 and other bigger, badder forms sort of fail for me. Because they already showed that those forms fail. They already showed that those forms have faults. So why are we doing the bigger the badder? We already knew that mastering Super Saiyan was the best path all the way back in the Cell arc. So why are we changing that narrative? And because of that, obviously, S tier. The very first transformation, I would put it slightly above Omen. Super Saiyan is the first transformation. It's obviously the basis for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other things on this list. And 8 and 9 if you include the ones that we haven't, 8, 9, and 10 if you include the ones that we haven't counted yet. It is the fundamental basis for most of these forms in some way or another. And because of that, I just find it hard to ever say it's not S. The legend, the build-up, who is the Super Saiyan, what will the Super Saiyan look like, will the Super Saiyan come in time to defeat Frieza, will it be Goku, will it be Vegeta? There was obviously, obviously it was always going to be Goku, but it always felt like there was a little bit of chance. There was always a mystery. Vegeta was getting exponentially stronger during the Namek Saga and Frieza arcs, so could Vegeta become the Super Saiyan before Goku? And then all of a sudden we have more and more of them. It loses a little bit of its value over time because there's too many of them. And it was supposed to be this legendary form, the Super Saiyan bargain sale thing. And yeah, I agree that it was a bargain sale, though despite making self-referential jokes, I don't think self-referential joke negates the reason that joke is being made, which in this case is because it legitimately is like everybody is getting Super Saiyan, unfortunately. Otherwise, it might actually beat out God for my favorite form. But overall, too, it's not very interesting in terms of what it can do. It's better Kaio-Ken. It just doesn't hurt your body to use as much as Kaio-Ken. And the mastery of it was very interesting as well, where turning that form into just a better variant of itself without changing its quote-unquote name, right? They don't say, okay, I'm going Super Saiyan 1 grade 4 now. No, they just say I'm going Super Saiyan 1, and that's always grade 4 now. That's what Super Saiyan 1 is. It was just an evolution of what Super Saiyan 1 could be. And I truly, truly think there's no place other than S that you could put the best transformation, or the first transformation in all of, first Super Saiyan transformation in all of Dragon Ball. Golden Ozaru is pretty simple. It's just a means to an end to get Super Saiyan 4. I'll put it in D. I'll be generous to it. I was going to put it in F. I'll be generous to it. It's a bit more interesting because it leads to Super Saiyan 4, but overall, it's kind of boring. And it ties to the original Super Saiyan in the anime, and I think the manga too, during the Frieza arc, are pretty interesting, at the very least. Though, that doesn't seem to be the new lore with Yamoshi and stuff, who was the first Super Saiyan. And what are you going to do? Super Saiyan 2 is unfortunately, and I say this very, very saddened by the news, is unfortunately right above Ozaru. And only that high because of Gohan. No one else makes that form interesting. Vegeta, there's good reason to believe Vegeta had Super Saiyan 2 before becoming Majin. Goku got Super Saiyan 2 just from training. Kabe has Super Saiyan 2. Caulifla has Super Saiyan 2. Kefla has a Super Saiyan 2 variant. Everyone has Super Saiyan 2. It's becoming the new Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 2 just lost its meaning when it wasn't just Gohan. It should have been Gohan's thing. It should have been Gohan's form and given Vegeta and Goku some identity to themselves of what their transformation paths would be like. But no, they got Super Saiyan 2 as well, and then that just escalated on and on. Gohan's pure rage building up and power building up and transforming into something beyond what a Saiyan normally could with its Super Saiyan form was pure genius in my eyes, but it failed after it was given to everyone else, and that's why it drops all the way to B. It might even be an S contender if it was just Gohan we were talking about. But yeah, otherwise, nah. This is gonna surprise some people, I think. I'm going to put this form. It's our last form. It's the second Ikari form. I think I'm gonna put it at a low C. The very end of C. And only because the way it's played up when he transforms, the actual scene of him transforming is that interesting. Being called a sinner, called out for his past crimes, his past failures, his past mistakes, his issues, his crimes, everything by Zamasu and Goku Black, only to transform in a fiery passion. His aura becomes like this blue-yellow mix, and some people have speculated, and I do agree with the speculation, that it has to do with training with Vegeta, who was in blue the whole time. There was some, like, connection there of the God Ki, and I kind of like the idea of it, but I just like the mystery of it a little bit. I like having a form that's not fully explained, though I kind of hate it at the same time, which is why it's not higher. I'd rather it be explained post-arc, right? After the arc, we get a little bit of explanation, but no, we got nothing. Nothing comes out about it. Nothing is revealed about it. We're just sort of left wondering what the hell happened. Why did he just randomly get this form that no one else, when they're angry, got? Just feels a little bit too much. There's a little bit too much suspension of disbelief, instead of just giving us a fictional answer for a fictional series. Just that simple. I'd rather have some answer than none, and then maybe it be the top of C tier. Maybe. But overall, I think it's carried to C from D or F just by the Sinner scene and how he transforms into it, and the work it puts in, and its visual interest, which, you know, it's Broly inspirations, which is funny because Trunks' grade 3 form, which is right below it actually in D tier, is what inspired the design of Broly's, like, transformation, the big buff, spiky big hair, no pupil stuff. This is obviously a callback to both of those things, and I kind of like that as well. It's kind of like a long list of Trunks' history in the series, and I think that's kind of nice. So yeah, here we have it. I know everyone's going to hate me for this tier list because I put Super Saiyan 3 in F. I think that's my most egregious crime here. I think everything else is pretty reasonable. Maybe Super Saiyan 2 people would have higher, but I don't think by much. Yeah, I think my most egregious crime for some people is going to be Super Saiyan 3. Because they like the way it looks, but goofy eyebrow, long hair, Sonic the Hedgehog looking guy that does nothing to progress the series or help in any instance. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Honestly, actually, can I fix this? Sorry. It's actually the worst form. It's not Blue Evolution that's the worst. Super Saiyan 3 is by far the worst form. Without a doubt. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and hit subscribe and the notification bell. That way you get to stay up to date on the channel and everything that goes on with it. If you're interested, please check out the merch store to support the channel in another way that gives you something in return. But till next time, peace!